Welcome to Strangely Canadian. I'm a book collector. I have many books on many different subjects. I thought I would try something different for the next few videos and see how it works out. I'm going to read to you from some of my collection. Today's book is Where the Ghosts Are, a guide to Nova Scotia's spookiest places by Steve Vernon. I'll put a link in the description to where you can purchase the book. Where the Blue Lady Walks. Tourism Canada proudly brags that out of the over 160 historic lighthouses still standing along the shore of Nova Scotia, no other lighthouse has been photographed, painted, or YouTubed more than the picturesque lighthouse standing proudly on the shores of Peggy's Cove. Now, what an awful lot of people do not realize is that Peggy's Cove is actually haunted by a lonely blue ghost. The way folks tell the story around Peggy's Cove is that Peggy was the name of a woman who had been washed ashore after a shipwreck out in the waters of St. Margaret's Bay. Well, actually, she could not remember her real name. All that she could remember was that she had lost her family out in the ocean when the ship that she had been traveling on had gone down. Or possibly that she had left her family back in Europe. That is how some people deal with pain. That is just too great for their heart to bear. They dig a hole in the banks of their memory and they bury it away. The story was awfully muddy and blurred. Either way, she could not remember her name, or at least that's what she claimed. So the townsfolk decided to name her Peggy, a common nickname for Margaret, after St. Margaret's Bay. A young fisherman by the name of Angus was struck by Peggy's beauty and began to court her, determined to make her his wife. "You need to cheer up," he would tell her. You have lost your old life, but there is no reason why you cannot start a whole brand new life all over again with me. Leave your tears to sink into the ocean. That is what salt water is for. Apparently, when Peggy still bleakly refused to smile at Angus' efforts to cheer her up, he decided to clown around a bit and see if he could make her laugh. After all, laughter was the very best medicine there was. At least that's how Angus saw it. So Angus climbed up onto that heap of rocks where the famous Peggy's Cove lighthouse stands, and he attempted to perform an Irish jig. A tricky enough step upon solid ground, let alone upon the slippery, wet rocks of Peggy's Cove. Angus lost his footing, and he fell to the rock and broke his skull open. And before Peggy knew it, the poor man had died. Peggy's heart had been broken again, even before she had allowed it to heal from her first great loss. She turned her back upon Angus's cold body, walked slowly down to the black rocks, stepping into the first crashing wave, and drowned herself. To this day, people swear that they see her ghost still walking the rocks of Peggy's Cove, still dressed in the cornflower blue smock that she always wore. Some people see her standing upon the black rocks, meaning the rocks that are close enough to the sea's edge to be splashed by the waves. Most locals know to steer clear of these so-called black rocks, although at least once a year you will read about some poor misguided soul who fell in, and a few have even been washed out to sea. Even the rocks that aren't black are risky, because the waves can surprise you as they rise up upon the higher rocks. The waves there almost seem to reach out and grab a hold of you, like they want to pull you in and drown you. One tourist said, "You have got to be careful standing that close to the sea." Some people believe that Peggy's ghost chooses to stand near the black rocks to warn the unwary tourist to beware of the slippery rocks. Other people believe in the shadows of the story. Their theory is that the ghost of Peggy still haunts these lonely rocks, hoping to lure unwary tourists down into the waters below. Perhaps she is looking for company in her lonely vigil. Perhaps she is looking for vengeance against the fate that stole the lives of everyone that she ever came to love and cherish. I cannot tell you which of these theories are true, but I encourage you to make a visit to Peggy's Cove the first chance you get and see if you can catch a glimpse of Peggy as she walks upon the shoreline. Maybe you ought to wave at her and see if you can get her to smile back at you. Just make sure you pay close attention to those signs and stay away from the slippery black rocks. I don't care how cool a selfie you can get. No thrill on earth is worth drowning for. Thanks for watching.